Hello, my name is Alicia Rosalinda Zavaleta, and you know me as Alicia. And this is my story. I've always wanted to have like a vlog or something just to kind of document everything I could ever possibly talk about myself with. And I figured, hey, even if it's just for posterity's sake, I'd rather just make it than not make it. So I have this whole little vlog kit in my apartment that I'm unpacking. So figured I was busted out, and then I figured if I busted out, I might as well make a video about it. So I was born Peter Michael Zavaleta, June 27th, 1995. I was born in South Texas, where I spent most of my life. Um, and I would say I'm going to use like a lot of keywords, and I'll try to explain it like when I believe it's necessary, but most of the time I'll just keep going because every context that I'm giving is like my side of the story, all that kind of stuff, unless I specifically add on to it that I know for sure. So I'm just gonna keep talking like I talk to myself. So my first experience, I would say, is about 1.5 when my older sister accidentally pushed me into the base of like an old sofa and split my head right down the middle. So I have like a scar right over here. I can actually still feel the bump on my head, like a little crater thing. And yeah, then I remember like floating above my body, like right to the top left of the room if you're facing, like if you're facing my way. So I was right up here if I'm facing this way. And I remember like my mom like walking in the room screaming. And I know I went to this other place after my body like floated up, and I only was coming back through like the black. I was only coming back like with my voice, like in fear, like screaming in fear when I saw the light turn on above me, and then all of the doctors with their scalpels piercing over to give me stitches. So it's gone from like one doctor to multiple over the years. So that's been an interesting change. Like if I try to conjure up the memory of it, that's what that's what it comes out as. So let's see. I kind of wanted this to be a practice video, so I'm gonna try shooting for like. I'll tell one more story because like I literally haven't eaten today, and I'm really thirsty, and I got this cute little electric griddle. I'm gonna name him like Henry or something. Yeah, let's go with Henry. And I gotta actually like make dinner. Just rice and vegetables. A real native girl. So let's see what's one more story. So I came back into my body, and I guess the next big cognizant moment was about 7. This is before I'll get into like all that transgender stuff. I didn't believe I slept. Like I thought that when I slept, I just went to this other place where there was no sleep because I remember this passage in the Bible. Because we were a very religious family. Like I was raised fundamentalist Baptist, First Baptist, I would say, in the deep South. And I know like Texas isn't like a million percent deep South, but like whatever, it's there. And so I was taught that heaven was that it was constant state of worship, and that since God was like the eternal light of all things, it was never nighttime. Like there was no darkness. It was the land that knew no darkness, and they interpret that literally, which I mean was a pretty fun interpretation. And so like it's a place where there's no rest, no sickness. You got a place in heaven, all that good stuff. Like pretty standard Christianity heaven, accurate jargon, quite frankly. I would just expand on it a bit further, but we'll get into that later. So I didn't think I slept, and I remember we were coming back from a trip, and I remember like if you're like driving from like San Antonio, and you're trying to get to South Texas, you get like a line of palm trees along the highway, and so when my siblings and I knew when we came back from our ranch up in the hill country that we were almost home, like an hour away from home, if we saw those palm trees. So it was always like that was always kind of cool. I remember I was taking a nap in the car, like I remember having my head against the windshield. Um, I might have been a little older. Sometimes I say stories. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe 10 or 11. I might have been 10 or 11. We'll see. I'll have to think on it further and maybe correct myself. But then I just woke up from a nap and I'm like, oh, I slept. And then I went back to sleep. And that was the first time I ever thought I slept. every other time I thought I was essentially just in heaven, and it was a place of no sleep. And so I don't really remember anything from in between those ages of like after getting back into my body, that sort of thing. From the doctor's scalpels at 1.5 years old, I don't really remember much till I was about like 7. 7 was a big year for me. And if you know anything about like Freud's sexual development theory, I think 7 years old is like the first signs of maturation and sexual identity. I forget what specifically. It's like recognizing sexuality, perhaps. Um, so we'll talk about that in the next video, probably. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna rewatch this to make sure it looks good. So later.